IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Evening once again. You know, I'm reminded right now that this show really should be called You Can't Spell Brian Without the I in Idiot. I'll tell you, no matter how much we practice, no matter how much we go over in advance, as soon as it's like, okay, now go, something goes wrong. So I don't know what to think anymore, to be honest. But let me say this. I do know that I want to welcome you and thank you for stopping by the 403rd episode and a very special tribute. I'll get to that in a little bit. But the 403rd episode of the #1 rated show here on IBMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being and the Gong. I love this. The Gong heard round the world broadcast. As it happens, thanks to our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast, we're broadcast live from the new Counterpunch Studios here in Columbus, Ohio, suburb of Columbus, Ohio, I should say. And we broadcast directly to IPMNation.com and multicast live on Facebook, over on allnaturalbeing.com, and now on YouTube as well. And, of course, our Brian Brawdy app with rebroadcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Twitter, you know, all the usual suspects. Greetings wherever you are, here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself, the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims, the sheer havoc of the synchronicity and serendipity of it all. Take a deep breath and breathe it in. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, but never a dead end until you and I decide to tap out. But until then, we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list, always calling your true wit, wisdom, and the wallop of your inner whisper. We want it front and center in your life, right? Who says you have to lead a tepid life? We want it front and center. There's no way you're here to do anything but out-brutal the brutal that is, or that at least can be, the cut and shuffle that fate deals you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold once and for all. We talk about it all the time. Let's get ready to mortal up. But before we hit it this evening, a quick hello to my friends here all over the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, my dear friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, and Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Iran, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Argentina, Peru, Austria, Poland. To those joining us from all over the globe, it really is great to have you with us. And I truly am fired up today to be driving your bandwagon, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're picking us up on IPMNation.com, to be avidly you wherever you're coming to hang with us. And as you know, I love riding shotgun with you, however that is, because I get to hang with you. So what are we waiting for? Here's your opportunity, as I said just a moment ago, to mortal up, because I think it's time to love the way you think. I think it's time to channel your all-natural being. Definitely time to channel your natural resources. And it's time for you to bring your grit to the relentless grip of life. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors And I tell you, no matter, as I said earlier, no matter what we try to do to get ready for the show, I single-handedly seem, not anyone else on the team, just me. I single-handedly seem to mess it up. So we're going, okay, talk about no more amnesia. We're talking about, okay, great, let's do this, let's do that, and something always goes south. You know what it was this time? I have to wear earphones so when people call in. I can hear them. By the time I put the earphones and the microphone on, the cables weren't. And I was like, like some Svengali doing a yoga move, just trying, just trying to get everything ready. Oh, and before I forget, where are we? I said last evening someone had asked, maybe it was Lee or someone else, Candace, someone asked about my statue of David. And I said, oh, don't forget, everything that was on the old set is nearby. My attempt at blocking pornography, as you know, he's got a little skirt so that I don't need to get a yellow Post-it to cover up, a piece of art. You can just see this is what will get blocked on Facebook. But I have the statue of David nearby. What else do we? Ooh, I've almost forgot about this. I've got my sword, you know what I mean? So if we get a little bit of practice in between, I need to cut anything. I've got the sword there. Let me see. What else do we bring? I think we know it. I got. What do we? Oh yeah, this is another good one, right? I got my balls here in a bag, right? So you know how to use these, right? You move them around in your hands. So I got that there. So yeah, and I have hooks above me now, so that what I thought I could do is, if there are questions, is to, where other things are. We got the loofah, the philosophical loofah for your soul. So the set, and I need to figure out a way of bringing the camera back here so you can see it's not all that far away. Oil can, right? If you're going to oil up, got the oil can is still here. So the set is still here. Right? The didgeridoo, everything else we need still here, just slightly off camera to appease all the people that thought, oh, well, that set's way too busy. So I wanted everyone to rest assured, that the, right off camera, the prayer bowl is still here. Right? So thank you all. We strike the prayer bowl every time someone, a little shameless plug for the show. If you share this Facebook feed, then we go ahead and hit the prayer bowl. So while we're doing that, let's jump into the feed very, very quickly, see if I can remember to turn down the volume. Let's jump in the feed, say hello to everyone, see what's going on. See, of course I didn't. You can never hit this volume until you're right in it. Good evening, Lee, and to Candace. Ina, nice to see you. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ina, very nice to see you. Henry, good evening, everyone, and to you as well. Thank you very much. Wayne, thank you, especially for your help all day today and just a little bit ago. Thank you very much, Wayne. Candace, nice to see you. Rita, nice to see you. Thank you so very much. You miss it all. Admit it. I do miss it, Candace. I have to tell you, I absolutely miss my stuff. But it's like it's all right here, right? Like I have a level. People go, why do you leave a level? Well, because you never know what I'm going to pull. So see that right there, a little bit. So just to see if I'm level-headed, so I have that close by. I've got all my things, right? All the things that I need, so I don't miss them because they're right here, but I get to absolutely get your point. I do miss them being in the shot with me. Rita, hello to you as well. Hello, Henry. And, Wayne, you should tell Henry we tried to get a hold of him today, but he's a jet setter now. These authors taking sabbaticals to work on their books, who knows when the inspiration hits them? You may not get a chance to talk to them. Just because you're accustomed to dialing them and then picking up the phone, you may not get a chance to talk to some of these writers. So we absolutely hope that everything is going well with the book and that you're enjoying life in Coenca or wherever you are. You may not even be in Coenca now that I think about it. Alex, good evening. Nice to see you. Glad to see you're well. Hope we get a chance to catch up with you before too long. All right, so this evening, what I wanted to talk about, we mention all the time our 800 number. If you want to call in toll-free, 833-MIND, UPS, just like push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups, 833-MIND-UPS. And, of course, that's 833-646-3877 if you want me to do the math. If you want to give us a call, it would be great to hang out with you. Also, on the off chance that my friend Brian Bouchard is listening, happy birthday, Brian. Also, Sean Hostetter, my good friend, happy birthday to you as well if you're listening. I hope if you're not listening, it means because you're out celebrating, right, your birthday. But what I wanted to talk about this evening, and remind everyone, we have a very special Copy That Speaks coming up tonight at 9 p.m., about 15 minutes away, 9 p.m., right here. Lee Rowley will be here from Sales Copy Academy and Copy Branding talking. We've got a really special show Oh, wow. So we'll be looking forward to talking about that a little later in the show. And of course, we'll look forward to have Lee here in the studio with us as well. Candace says, Henry will call back when he gets writer's block. That's hysterical. I absolutely believe that. I hope he visits when he gets writer's block. I hope Henry, so if you get writer's block, you just get your passport, go over to the airport, get on a plane and come here. Henry says he has to be at the U.S. Embassy tomorrow morning. Wow. Hope everything's all right. Oh, maybe it's to get the very passport to get out of there and be able to come here and hang out in Columbus. Although you may want to wait a couple weeks because I'm told this week coming up it's going to be like -9 here. -9. Now, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I have to tell you, when it comes to global warming, I grab whenever the budget permits, I grab 2 cans of aerosol anything. And you know what I do? 2 cans of aerosol anything, I spray it right at the sun, right? -9 degrees. That's just not even normal. -9, which reminds me of a story. It was, whose inauguration was it? May have been President Bush, may have been President Clinton. I don't know. But they were bragging about the inauguration. And it was so cold this particular day. But what they talked about was how they were able to broadcast the signal around the world. So they said, oh, well, we put it up to a satellite and we put it up to a ship in the Indian Ocean. And then it bounced off that to a receiving station. And it was broadcast from that receiving station, the satellites all circling circling the Earth. And it talked about one of those satellites being in Antarctica. And you ready for this? At the time I was in Chicago for the inauguration. You ready for this? It was colder in Chicago than it was in Antarctica. How does that happen? How can it be colder? I mean, maybe the North Pole, right? Okay, I'll give you that. But how can it be colder than the South Pole? The South Pole was warmer there than it was in Chicago. So that's my story about not global warming. I don't know. All right. Oh, look at everyone in the thread here. Henry and Rita, we miss you. Candace, absolutely agreed. Thank you for stopping by and telling us what you're thinking. Super appreciate it. And I love the idea of getting writer's block. When Henry gets writer's block, just grab the passport and come on up. All right, so this evening, before the bottom of the hour, we're going to be talking about this concept of amnesia. And I ran into a debate the other day when someone said, oh, I'm looking forward, I got to get this, and I have to do this and do this and do this. And my belief and my line that says that everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. You've always had the wherewithal to pull off almost anything you wanted. But that we have a certain philosophical amnesia. Right? So when we talked about copy for the front page, and I don't know if Wayne wants us to announce the website tonight or we're waiting to announce it coming up, but we're working on some of the copy. And one of the writers said to me, well, what do you do? And they came up with this thing, well, Brian Brawdy rebuilds minds. And then so I started thinking about that and I go, well, that's pretty good. I like that when you think about it. But what do we rebuild a mind? What are we rebuilding it to? And it's that memory of who you ultimately are. And it's that memory of your natural resources, your grit, your agility, your stamina, everything that you need to be successful beyond your wildest dreams. So the amnesia sets in when we forget. Right? When we choose to do something other than crush our can't. When we opt to do something other than expose our real genius. When we do something other than actually reclaiming the life that we're supposed to have. So for me, no more amnesia. Now, it's true that I deal with amnesia. If you're not tired of stories already, I'll share another little one quickly. Dallas, good evening. Thank you for joining us at All Natural Being. I got over the other day. I got to a gas station and was getting ready to put some gas in the car. I was sitting there, and Ashley looks over at me, and she says, so, what are we doing? I go, oh, well, I think we should get some gas. It's like $1.70 something, which is unheard of here in -9 degrees Columbus. And I said, yeah, I thought we would stop and get some gas. And she says, great idea. And I'm sitting there, and for the life of me, now granted, I'm only 5 weeks out of the last brain surgery, but you ready for this? In a car that I filled up with gas 100 times, I'll bet you. 100 times. Easy. Hands down. 100 times. I could not, for the life of me, remember how to undo the latch in the back that allows you access to the gas cap. I just simply couldn't. So I sat there thinking it would just dawn on me, it would come to me, and I'm looking around, and it turns out this little thing, I should take a picture of it and I'll post it, but it's terribly nondescript when it comes to blending into the rest of the dashboard. It's like the TV here. It's the same color, right? It's like this dark gray, same color as the rest of it. And I had no clue where it was. And Ashley reached over and said, oh, it's right here, and popped it and gone from there. So I understand what it's like to have that sense of amnesia. But have you ever had the feeling that you're missing something in life? And what if that missing something is you? Jason, good evening. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us on All Natural Being. Jason, I got to tell you, I tried calling you. I think it was yesterday. I really did think about you. I had to go to a school here in the just south of the Arctic Circle in Columbus, Ohio. But I had to go to a school here, and I'm walking through the hallways of this particular school. It's a private school, right? But I'm walking through the hallways of this particular private school, and I look down, and I see a little plate. And I said, wait a minute, I know what that is. Believe it or not, the school version of Night Lock, the little plates where you have it and you can slide the lock in on the inside of the door, right? Every door at this particular, and Jason, you probably know where it is, but, I should just keep it, keep it close to the cuffs and not all the bad guys. Oh, and the bad girls. Don't want to think I'm mansplaining. Don't want you to think I'm being sexist. The bad guys and the bad girls don't know exactly what's being used. So in this particular school, your product, every door in the place. I kept walking down the halls and going, and there's one, and there's one, and there's one, and there's one, and there's one. So the reason that I was calling, and now that you're here, I can just say it to you, and I can save calling you at the office tomorrow, is that thank you so much for the Night Lock, because I'm getting, when you think, oh, Night Lock, what could that do to help get a great night's sleep? And I have to tell you, knowing that the doors of the house are protected with Night Lock, I sleep like a baby. Not like an infant that's up every 3 hours to get something to drink, right? I mean, I sleep like a baby, where it's just like I don't have any worries, right? They'd have to come through one of the doors with a tank to be able to get in. So I thank you, Jason, very much. You're welcome for sharing. And it was really great at this school to see your product on those school doors. And I should talk to you at some point, because I'd love to be able to secure the studio. But when you pull the door shut, there's no one here, right? There's no one here in the studio. So I don't know if there's a way of securing it, and then from outside the door, you lock it and unlock it. I should talk to you about that sometime. That's the one thing. But I'm glad to see you here this evening. And if you don't know, maybe Jason will post it here in the thread, but Night Lock, it's absolutely unbelievable, simple to install, easy to use, and I'm sleeping like a baby because I know no one's going to sneak in, right? In order to get through this thing, you'd need a howitzer to be able to get into this. So maybe not a howitzer, but you know what I mean? You'd need a bigger sledgehammer than this to get through. And if you were going to try to do that, all the racket, right, that would wake me up sooner than later. So, Jason, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to catching up with you, brother, as well. All right, so let's get back to amnesia. The phone lines are still open, 833-MIND-UPS, mind-ups, just like push-ups, set-ups, or pull-ups. And if you want me to do the math, it's 833-646-3877. What is the Night Lock link? Jason, if you're still here, could you pop that link? Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. Nightlock.com. Candace, you'll absolutely love this stuff. And like I said, easy to install, even for me, right? And I know you're thinking, Brian, you used a drill? Yes. I used a DeWalt. I don't even know the name of this stuff. I had to charge a battery, put it in the handle, and use an actual power drill. But yes, I did it. So in any event, if I can install it, then it's easy for anyone to install, and you're absolutely... the peace of mind, just the quiet that it gives you, you're absolutely going to love it. So, Jason, nice to see you pop up. Thanks for hanging out with us here at All Natural Being. All right, we're getting back to amnesia. And what we're talking about is that, have you forgotten what you're ultimately capable of? Maybe we're not so much depressed. Maybe we're not so much agitated. Maybe we're not so much just down as we are. We've just forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what we're ultimately capable of. Candace says, thank you very much. Candace, thank you as well. Maybe we've just forgotten what we're ultimately capable of. Maybe we've forgotten about our all-natural being, and that we can literally, in this particular moment in all of time, tap into a potential that is truly just this side of unlimited. And if that's the case, then I guess it would kind of make sense. When you forget who you ultimately are, then life has to seem like an uphill battle. When you forget all the tools that you have, right? All the tricks that you have at your disposal, all the abilities. Now, it's true, they may have atrophied a bit, like a leg muscle broken because you were on the ski slope screwing around and you ended up in a cast. Well, you're in a cast for a couple months. You pull that muscle out and it's atrophied. Well, what if your sense of self is atrophied? What if your knowledge of what you're ultimately capable of? What if that is atrophied? It's not like it's gone. Right? It's just dormant. So what would you have to do? Good evening, Kathy. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. What would you have to do to rekindle that muscle? Will you use it slowly? Right? Like if you get your leg muscle is atrophied because it's been in a cast, you don't get the cast off and go right from the saw, right from the saw to the gym and then deadlift 400 pounds. You do it. Progressive adaptation, little taxation on the muscle that builds big results over a longer period of time. So what if you and I fell back on our 20-minute victories? What if we fell back on and said, oh, okay, you know what? Right now for the next 20 minutes, 1/72nd of my day, I'm going to do something that rekindles my natural sense of self, my all-natural being. I'm going to do something to truly, hi, Kathy, I'm going to like to do something that will truly put my heart's highest priority top of my list. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, all the critics, that's right. Cue the critics. Remember, I call them like walking, talking Venus flytraps. Right? You got a great idea and all of a sudden they're like, oh, really? Look, oh, come on, land over here. And then that fly's done, right? That's done. Or these walking, talking pits of quicksand. You get an idea and all of a sudden you're quicksand. Right? And then you're done. So a little bit of that is coming. But you can put up with it for 20 minutes, 1/72nd of your day, so that amnesia doesn't get a chance to take control and run your life. And when you think about the opioid addiction, I saw something the other day where people are lonely, people are depressed, half of the people, and everyone that set the New Year's resolutions, and you think, oh, I have to lose weight. I have to get a bigger bank account. I have to, right? It's all about acquiring or either losing or acquiring. But what if you said, you know what, my New Year's resolution is going to be just to be me? What if the New Year's resolution is, I want to be avidly me? And who knows what that means, but for right now, all I'm going to focus on is putting my heart's highest priority top of my list. Brian Bouchard, good evening. Nice to see you, brother. I wished you a happy birthday earlier. I figured you might be out and about. Maybe you're listening on the radio as well, but happy birthday. I hope you have many, many more. Good evening, Kelly. Kelly, nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. And you'll have to let us know, Kelly, if that bed and breakfast offer is still open. Got a lot of people that are going, oh, well, could I come and hang out for 81 to win? So maybe we could talk about that quickly. Could I come and hang out for your world record attempt? Most certainly. So, but I will have to see if, Kelly has a spare place on her floor. Maybe we can throw a thermarest and a sleeping bag or maybe a couch or a room or something. So we'll talk about, nice to see you, Kelly. Thank you very much. So 81 to win. We're moving right along. We'll talk to Lee a little bit later about Rick Astley and everything we're doing there. To get ready for that. So, and we're building a new webpage, and Wayne and I were at it for about 5 hours today. Alex, I know, was working on it as well. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to announce that pretty soon, the new page, the new website, everything else going on. Thanks, man. Hang in tight tonight. Well, good for you. For sure. Let's chat soon. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that very much. I certainly do. And we would love it if Kelly could come over and hang out with us in the studio. Well, Kelly, you have an open invitation to come over here anytime and hang out in the studio. But most certainly for the 81 to win, it would be great to be able to hang out. I know Wayne's going to be here. Maybe Alex will be here. Lee will definitely be here. Hopefully Carla as well. So we'll make an 81-hour party out of it. All right. So before we get ready to wrap this evening, I wanted to one more time go back to this sense of this thought about forgetting who you ultimately are, and ask when we think about sadness. What could be the outcome of forgetting who you ultimately are, other than sadness, other than depression, Other than, and I think with everything going on in the media, everything going on in the world, not just politics, but everything going on in the world, there's a vested interest in people to get you to be amnesiac. There's a vested interest. If you keep fighting, if you keep right brawling, if you're always triggered, if you're always outraged, if you're always offended, if you're cellophane John or cellophane Jan, and basically instead of a spine, as you know, I believe we got a spine like rebarb, right? You can't break that spine. You got a balsa wood spine. What could be, if you've forgotten who you were, who you are, what you're ultimately capable of, what else could you hope for than a balsa wood spine? So maybe, just maybe, recovering that thought of who you are and what you're ultimately capable of, right? So when we talk about Brian Brawdy rebuilds minds, I'd rebuild it all the way, take it all the way to the foundation, back to when you were little and you thought you could do literally anything. Well, the nice thing about it is you still can. You can literally pull off almost anything, right? Like you and I aren't going to walk on the moon anytime soon. You get what I'm saying? But other than that, what could you do? What's the quote? What could you do if you knew you would not fail? Well, fail ultimately is something that you have to surrender. You have to give in. But what would you do if you didn't surrender? If you didn't give in? What would you do if you put your heart's highest priority top of the list? Kelly says, definitely. Thank you very much. Brian, also, please tell Casey that we said hello if you're hanging tight tonight. I'm sure she's right there with you. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. All right, before we get out of here this evening, we've got a really special copy that speaks this evening, and I don't want to steal anyone's thunder. I'm most certainly not going to steal Lee's thunder, but I've been thinking of Lee and I've been thinking of Carla all day today because it's a pretty important anniversary, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Lee and Carla losing their daughter, Aria, 6 years ago today. And, of course, we're going to dedicate, as I said earlier, we're going to dedicate this show tonight. I think it was the 403rd episode, I think, if Wayne told me correctly. We're going to dedicate this show to that lovely, lovely, lovely little being, but also to Lee and Carla, because they're an inspiration. I have to tell you, my brother Barth lost a daughter at a very young age, a very, very young age. And I've always looked at people that are able to recover after having lost a child, able to recover and find anything to be passionate about, find anything to smile about, find just any reason at all to get out of bed. And Lee and Carla are those people. Carla has a smile that lights up the room when she's in it. And you all know Lee, right? He doesn't have a smile that lights up a room, but damn, you can't help but look at the boy when he walks in a room, right? That's all I'm going to say, right? So to have that sense of passion, given the obvious pain, just obvious, the unimaginable pain that they must go through each and every day, it's truly inspiring. Let me say hello quickly to Bain. Bain, thank you so very much for joining us this evening at All Natural Being. And as we get ready to wrap, I wanted to show you a picture of Aria. And I wanted you to get a sense, when you hear Lee talk about her smile, when you hear everything that he has to say about how she always made other people smile, she had a magnetism to her. And it's because of that, we want to dedicate this episode of All Natural Being in tribute to the joy and wisdom, absolute wisdom, of Aria Elise Rowley, and to her parents, to my good friend Lee, and to Carla, who are an absolute inspiration. Absolute inspiration. So the show is dedicated to her. All right, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. We will be here at 9 o'clock for Copy That Speaks. And I'll be telling you, we're going to talk a little more about Aria. We're going to talk a little more about just some, Lee's really open about it. And we're going to interview someone that's intimately aware of the particular disease that Aria succumbed to. And so we're going to be doing all of that this evening at 9 o'clock. So if you're around at 9 o'clock for Copy That Speaks, we'll see you over there. And Lee, if you're still there, if you could put up in the thread your channel for Copy That Speaks so everyone will know right where to jump to. And then we'll go ahead and leave this up and get out of here. Thank you all so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. I'll say hello to Kristen real quick before we go. Thank you so very much, and have an absolutely fantastic evening. Hug your kids, because you just never know. Farewell.
IPMNation.com.